Welcome, everybody, to the Digital Nomad Experts podcast by Beach Commute. Today, we've got Jeff and Marissa. I'm in Puerto, Escondido, Mexico. Marissa is looking like you're probably going to start living in Costa Rica soon. What are you going to be, about half and half at this point?
That sounds nice. Probably about
Yeah.
that. I think I've been bouncing between US and Costa Rica lately instead of my 10 different countries every year all over the place. But yeah, more and more time. I think last year I spent 4 or 5 months in Costa
How
Rica
much?
in total.
Wow.
So
Are
I
you going
think
to buy
so.
there?
Yeah. So
You were talking about that on a previous
I would like
podcast.
to. Yeah, I was looking at some point and then I was like, I think I'll just rent for a little bit longer, but I would like to at some
Yeah.
point.
Would you
Yeah.
buy where you're at? Where are you in? Las Catalinas? Is that right?
It's a little town called Las
Yeah.
Catalinas. So that's the plan. But
Nice.
it was just in Santa Teresa in the last week for 10 days or so. And I feel like, I don't know, I mentioned pretty much Santa Teresa, Nosara, and Las Catalinas. Santa Teresa and Nosara are two of the big, more kind of nomad-ish. It's more surfery, surfer yoga expat than nomad. But those towns are cool. But I think, yeah, for me, Las Catalinas is where I live.
Nice. Puerto Escondido. Love it. I still fucking hate the sand. I had it in my bed the other day. I'm like, I can't even explain the anger. I have this physiological response to sand. When I'm on the beach, fine. But when it's anywhere else, I just get angry.
It's so funny
It's
to
in the
me.
shower.
Although
I
I feel
shower.
like
I'm like, oh, god damn it. Stuff's a plague.
I just love showers, so I'm happy to do it. Happy for a reason to shower at the beach. But last week, I feel like you were maybe 2 days. You had just gotten there, and if you're listening, Puerto Escondido is in Mexico. It's where Jeff is right now, the little beach town. But I feel like you had only been there 2 days last time, and you were like, I'll take the sand. I love this. And you were just so happy to be back at the beach. I think you didn't mind. Now it's been
about
a week and a half,
of sand.
and
I'm like,
the sand is
all right,
getting to you.
that's enough of this shit. All
Hopefully.
right, so
I love it. I'll take it.
today we are going to talk about
What are we talking about?
Today, we're going to talk about 300 plus companies that let you work from anywhere. Specifically, we are going to be talking about the Anywhere Atlas, which we just launched, which is a database of companies that we have tracked down and reviewed and scored over the last, 3-something years, something like that, which is now in a fully interactive database that anybody can use for free. This database has all of these companies. Each one of these companies has been reviewed by us by our own scoring system that we've come up with, and along with a review of the company, links to their careers pages, and also on top of that, daily job alerts with jobs that let you work from anywhere in the world. So we want to talk to you today about how this thing works, why we put it together, some of the specifics of the things that you can do in there. And then I think maybe we should talk about a little bit of the feedback that we've had from the audience. A lot of good, really, really good feedback. And then some pretty cool ideas, too. I mean, I think that's kind of important to talk about, too, because we're going to get into this a little bit. But a lot of what we've developed was just based on you guys sending us various emails over the years, looking at some of the data and what you guys are interacting with the podcast we put out, the emails that we send, and the result of what we built is a lot of just you guys saying, hey, this is what we want. And we're like, well, fuck it. Let's build it.
Right.
Let's see if we can. All right.
Very professional over here. Fuck it. We got it. We'll
I
do
mean,
it for
yeah,
you. No problem. We can. That's what's cool.
It's kind of what we set out to do anyways. As a company, we kind of want to be work on our own schedule, work where we want, and just say, fuck it, that sounds cool. Let's build it. Work on the things that we want to work on. And a lot of the things.
Can that be our new company tagline?
Let's build it. Yeah, and it's great, right? And a lot of times you'd send in ideas, and we would say, fuck it, that sounds good. Let's see if we can build it. And this is kind of the child of that. So, yeah, we're excited to talk to you about what it is and some of the cool functionality that we have in there, and maybe some ideas that we have for the future of this thing. And again, these are some ideas from you, some from us, and it'll probably just go in the direction of you guys tell us what you like, and we'll keep an eye on it, and then might get added into it. So yeah, with that,
I feel like this is going to be a slap happy episode.
Yeah.
But I do want to say before we jump into anything, the reason for this episode is to share how you can use this tool to help you get a remote job, right? We built this for you so that you can find the companies that let you travel, because they are far and few between in the grand scheme of all the companies in the world. And we'll talk about that more in a second. But this episode is for you to understand, like, what is this tool? Why is it helpful for you? How is it going to help you find a job that ultimately lets you travel so you have the freedom to be anywhere in the world? So it's a little bit tactical, but we think it will really, really help you. And again, as Jeff said, we made this free. This is a free resource. A lot of thought went into that. Would it be paid? Would it be free? Sometimes I think we're crazy. It's an awesome free resource. It cost us a lot of time and money to build out. This took us 6 months
more than
to
that.
build, working with, like, it's been longer. Yeah.
I mean,
I guess 6 months since we actually started, but like way before that working on it. So it's been a big labor of love, and it's free to you guys. So definitely use it. It's really an amazing tool. It can really help you find your remote job that lets you travel. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, anything else for you?
Yeah, I mean, we just wanted to create the no-brainer resource for anybody looking for a job that lets them work from anywhere. Like, just the obvious, easiest, most helpful tool on the planet. And we wanted to create that because there are none. After going through years of LinkedIn, Indeed, job boards, and finding out that most remote jobs, like 99% of remote jobs, are not actually remote jobs. They are work from home jobs. They are return to office jobs. You can only work within a specific geography because they've got tracking on your computer kind of stuff, or they're just fake job listings. It's the wild, wild west out there. So we wanted to create something that you could actually trust. Some people that hopefully you trust us a little bit if you've been listening for a while. Maybe you shouldn't. I've been swearing like a sailor the first 10 minutes. I don't know how that affects you much, but we are genuine. But we wanted to create something that you could trust, that these are legit companies and these are legit jobs, and they will let you work fully remote. That was it. It just doesn't exist. And we're like, got to build something because there are no guardrails on this point. And people want this. This is the way things are going to be in the future, no matter how much, it's being resisted by some companies. So
yeah. And I want to say we wanted to share why we created it, and you just mentioned a lot of it. For a little bit of background, for like 5 years or so now, we're 5 years into Beach Commute, which is so crazy. But for most of those years, we've been sending out daily remote job listings or weekly remote job listings, depending if you were paid or free. But we've been sending job listings that let you work from anywhere for a really long time. And we used to have, whether it was us or we had, people on our team who would have to go in and like scrounge the internet or find, eventually we would start building these lists. But each day they would go into all of those, quote, remote job, like the remote job boards. And there's like 30 of them that are like, it says like working nomads, remote okay, remote this, like nomad, all the nomad theoretical job boards. We'd have to scour through hundreds and hundreds of jobs just to find like one that actually let you work from anywhere. So we're like, if we have experts doing this and it is this hard to find, like, why? This is insane. Like, why doesn't something exist that actually, there's all those things that are toggled for, remote work, or some remote job boards even, quote, say work from anywhere, but they're not. It's like they're lies, or the company is tricking you, or the job boards. It's just like the Wild West of remote jobs, basically. So this resource just didn't exist. So after a lot of time, we had built up this, we would had this list of hundreds and hundreds of companies that let you work remote from anywhere. Some were always remote from anywhere, and some were sort of this hybrid of like some of the jobs that you work from anywhere, some were office jobs, and that was still confusing. In general, we didn't want to just share those. So we created this resource. As Jeff said, you guys would email us in, and we had some people be like, do you have like a running list of all these companies? Like, it's nice to have these daily job alerts, which are awesome, and they are really helpful, and I highly recommend them to see what's out there, see what kind of job listings, which we'll talk about. But the gist of it is, like, we talk a lot about, like, find the companies that you love and network with the people there. Pursue these companies, like, find jobs at the companies that you love instead of just browsing through job listings. And so people were like, can I just see this list of companies? We're like, we should probably do something with this. So nothing existed out there like this. Still nothing exists to this day, to our knowledge. There's some things I feel like people try to do, but nothing is really like, these are the companies that, let you work from anywhere and gladly do so. They have it in the DNA of their company for the most part. That's like, work from anywhere, work from wherever you want in the world, like work wherever you have Wi-Fi, work from, we can talk about some quotes. I feel like Jeff's always good at finding those. But the point is, nothing like this existed. And, even when I would work personally with one-on-one clients looking for these type of companies, I love helping people figure out, like, what is the career you're meant to do? and we'd get super crystal clear. And then I'd be like, all right, this is going to be the hard part. Now you have to go scrounge the
Hmm.
internet and like find a company that's going to let you work from anywhere doing what you love. And now like it is my favorite tool because I'm like, now just go to the Anywhere Atlas. All of the companies are there. See which ones you like. You know what you want to do now and go network with those companies and find the job. So if you're curious about this, we'll link in the show notes. You can go to beachcommute.com/atlas, or we'll link to it in the notes wherever you are listening to. So you can click right through, and we'll mention that throughout where to find it. But I just wanted to share like the background of why this is so helpful for you. And I think that helps kind of understand why this tool was created for
Yeah,
you.
that's some good context. I don't have much else to add, but maybe we should jump into the first thing we want to talk about is the selection criteria, which is
Yes.
probably out of all of these things the trickiest. Out of scoring them,
Hmm.
going through all of their perks, their job listings and stuff. That's just kind of manual labor. But actually choosing remote companies is really, really difficult. It's why it took us so long.
So much trickier than you would think, which is insane. And this is why we created this for you. So talk about Jeff. I'll chime in, but like, why is it so hard? So we started probably with a list of like 1,000+ companies that were kind of, like said they were remote, or we had found remote jobs at some point. And then we had to whittle this list down to say like, what is the criteria to say like, this is making it onto the Anywhere list? So can you talk about why that was so hard for us to do?
Yeah, it's because there's no really understood or regulated language around what the word remote actually means. And I think what's happening is a lot of companies realize that they want to attract top talents, and they understand that top talents want remote flexibility with their jobs. So they know that they have to have that as some sort of perk as in order to attract that. But a lot of these companies don't really want to give up a certain amount of control. So they will say their jobs that they're offering are remote, but they're not quite being truthful with it in a few different ways. Remote to a lot of these companies I've seen could mean you work remote like 2 or 3 days a week. So you're not actually
Yeah.
fully remote. You actually have to be in a specific location. Worse than that, you actually have to go to the office, this is actually hybrid. This is not remote. Hybrid is when you go in part-time, when you work from home part-time. So that's a hybrid arrangement. And some of the companies say that they're remote, but they actually mean work from home. Right? So yes, technically you are remote, but they care where you are. They care where they hire you. They want to hire you within a specific location. They want you to work from a specific location. So I don't know. They all have different reasonings for that. Usually it comes back to some degree of I don't want to give up some kind of control or overseeing
Or
them. Yeah, a lot of
taxes.
times it could be taxes. I would prefer that that's the issue, that it's just taxes, but sometimes it's not. Yeah, so a lot of times when you see these remote companies, it's buried in this fine print, and usually it is very very fine print that you'll see not on the careers page, but you'll see it in the job listings. It'll be like you can work remote, within blah 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 blah, and it's like you don't know that. A lot of people don't know that until they apply to the job, and that's why there's nothing out there like that, because we've had to go through and read all of these companies and omit thousands of them because we found this fine print. I just found one the other day in the Atlas. Companies change their policies all the time. In the Atlas, this was I think it was like an 86% company, or one of our top 10% of companies, went back into their careers page, and they put, I noticed a lot of the pages, job listing pages, said that they were hybrid. And I was like, what is going on? I looked at the careers page again, and they're like, oh yeah, we celebrate work from anywhere freedom. I messaged them, I'm like, what is this? And of course, like as I'm reading through this stuff, they're saying, yes, we have an amazing hybrid structure which promotes collaboration and culture. Like, here we go again. These things are constantly changing. So this is why it's so difficult. It's difficult for us. It's way more difficult for people who don't do this as a job. Right? So I don't know. There's so much to this. Do you have anything else to add that I might have missed?
Yeah, it's funny, like as even whittling down, let's say we got rid of a lot of the companies already that were very clear, like it was remote, but it was remote from one place or hybrid or something. That was like an easier first chunk that it took a lot of time to do, but that was sort of an easier start. Then as Jeff said, you're like, not only are things changing, do you remember we spent, I don't know, it was probably a month or so as we were doing this, Like going back and forth
Mm.
some days where you would, send me this company. And even like Jeff and I, as experts who are looking at thousands of company career pages and job listings, like hundreds of thousands at
Yeah.
this point, searching for these work from anywhere roles and these, more people on our team doing the same, we would still look at these companies and be like, I literally can't tell. Like they're like, it was just so vague, and I'm forgetting some exact language now, but it would be like, you can work from wherever you want, but then like in the fine print below, it would have a location, or it would say something weird.
Has to
And
be
so
intentional, right?
there's a lot of companies.
It's gotta be.
It feels very
Yeah.
misleading. It's like, how can we make you think it's work remote, but it's like, or work from anywhere, but it's
Right.
not really. And so any of the ones that we would email the companies directly if we heard a response and had a clear answer, we'd include them or not. But a lot of them, I feel like we still have probably like 300 to 400 companies that are like just kind of unclear or misleading, or just like there's something not quite right in the spidey senses where it's not really work from anywhere, and they weren't included. So the point of this is that even with our expert eyes, like we're like I would say the expert of experts of anyone in the world looking at these things for you, some of these companies, hundreds of them, are still like almost impossible for us to know, which means they're purposely trying to mislead you. So the ones that end up on the Anywhere At list took a lot of work for us, to find for you. And as Jeff said, it's not always perfect. Maybe you might find something here and there as company policies change, or, other things happen. But for the most part, like we get the work from anywhere companies that are on there, and there's no one else in the world doing this right now that is truly trying to decipher this for you, because as Jeff said, it is the fucking Wild West out there of like, and we just want you, when you're spending so much, like it takes a lot of time to network with companies and know what you're doing and find a job. So to go and waste all of your time applying for these companies that make you think they're remote or remote from anywhere and they're not is just
Yeah.
like heartbreaking to us. We don't want you to waste your time, which is why this is here. And then to add to that, even still, there was a company, as Jeff said, things are always changing, that, we're going to send out in our daily email a couple days ago. And one of the job listings, it literally said on the top, and we talked about this, I think, on the last episode, but it said like, you can work remote, like work from anywhere. Like it really said those words. And it was even more than that. It was like a full sentence that made you believe like everyone in our company works from anywhere. And then 75% down the way of the job board, it was like, you must be in person in this location in the office. And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Like this doesn't even make sense. So sometimes they'll put generic things, like most of, their, maybe in the past it was like that and they have a generic headline and now they're not remote anymore. So again, the best efforts in the Anywhere At list when we were like selecting the companies, as Jeff said, was that they really let you work from anywhere and they're not trying to trick you. They gladly let you work from anywhere. They have employees who are already doing so. It's kind of built into their DNA. And the higher their rating, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute of what you can look at for the ratings and what they're rated by, but the higher the rating, generally, like the more work from anywhere friendly they are and promote. And one thing to note also, Jeff, I don't know if you have more comments on this, but we also omitted companies that even if they were work from anywhere, just seemed like shady companies or bad companies to work for. We found reviews from people who had worked there in the past that had bad things to say about the company. So we also want this just to be a place where, it's not perfect. There's some companies on there that have lower ratings. So we're like, sometimes you might want a job that's like a decent company to work at, but they let you work from anywhere and you're happy. So you'll see the ratings are higher when the companies are, have better feedback. But if anything was just like, this company is terrible to work for, it's sketchy, it's weird, or it's bad, or the people are awful, like it didn't make it even if they let you work from anywhere.
Yeah, like anything. Some things are going to be better than others, right? Like we have to give it a scoring system because some are awesome and some are not as awesome. And you should recognize that. That said, we did have certain thresholds for everything where it's like if they just came below a certain level, we didn't want to put our stamp on it and say this is, we want you to trust us in the choices that we put together in this database. So with that, we had a certain threshold for what we thought would be a nice company to work for, and we set the bar pretty high. And if companies didn't reach that, we put a flag on them. Like actually in the back end, I've got notes on a lot of companies, like keep an eye on these guys not liking the way it's going kind of thing. And I actually wrote that a couple times. Like, I don't like the way this is going. Like, I'll keep an eye on some of their peer reviews as it's sliding. And people are writing like, not looking good here in, employee reviews. I'm going to keep an eye on them. And if they don't get it back up, I'm just going to remove them because I don't want anyone who trusts us to go in and say, hey, the hell, I got a job with this company and they all just cut 20% of their workforce. So they're taking away perks and things like that. So it is, this database is not static. This is a moving document. Like this is going to have to evolve, and it's going to continue to take a lot of work from us, from our team, to make sure that they are really good companies all the time. And you can trust that they're going to be good companies. But it's just, it's a constant thing. It's tricky.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And it's 100% perfect. We are humans behind it. So, if you ever see anything, if you're on there and something looks strange to you, definitely let us know. But again, we are doing our very best on the back end to find the best companies for you. And things change, things happen, with anything. But that's the selection of how these companies made it onto the Anywhere Atlas. You can understand, like, when you just go on there and you see these hundreds of companies, like, this is what you're looking at. This is what made the cut. So with that, I feel like Jeff is the brains behind our scoring criteria. If you don't know, Jeff is like a data whiz. He loves the numbers. He loves the analytics. And he went to town with this. So I want to let him explain. You could thank Jeff's like analytical math brain and excitement for this. Because I feel like this is when Jeff, I feel like you really switched as we were doing this. So like you were like so passionate about the scoring, about the companies, about what they were, who they are, what they're offering to you guys listening. So Jeff, can you explain? So real quick, I'll say, if you go in and look at the Anywhere Atlas, and again, if you haven't done it yet, go to beachcommute.com/atlas. You can enter your email. It'll unlock all of the, you sign up, you create your little profile. You can unlock all of the companies for free, and you'll see an Atlas score on every single company, and it might be 87 or a 42 or a 96, whatever that is, right? And you can click and you'll see what makes up that score. So I think it's really awesome. This is Jeff's baby. This is exciting. So can you explain what goes into the scoring of these companies,
This was so
Jeff?
Fun. I love building formulas and scoring things. It's in my DNA. So we wanted to come up with one easy to understand score for each company. And so we've done that. From 0 to 100 is the maximum you can get for a company. And that score is based on 4 different factors. And these factors are weighted based on what we think is most important. Those 4 factors are...
Jeff's analytical. If I just were looking at this, I'm like, this company feels
cool. No. It's got to be...
This is great.
Got to be objective. So we built an objective scoring system for each one of these 4 factors. 4 factors are peer reviews. So people that have and do work at the company each one of these scored 1 to 5. The company culture. So this is, if you look through careers pages and job listings, there are certain factors that they put into these pages that we can quantify that will represent like a good environment for an employee, a very employee facing type of thing. So there are a number of things that we look for, specific phrases, specific aspects of a careers page and transparency that we look for that can go into the score from 1 to 5. The next one is how much they emphasize their work from anywhere policies. So for example, if they are a company, the highest score you can get is they blast work from anywhere all over their careers pages, their job listings. And in order to qualify as a 5, they would had to have said, we have been a work from anywhere company since its origination, and we've built our entire product, service, employee structure around that mindset. Like we built our entire operations around being a work from anywhere company. We like that because they know how to run a team fully remote. They're not just forced to make it work because of the pandemic. Like they know how to promote based on your output, and they know how to work asynchronously in a way where everybody's communicating, but they're not in the same place. They're way ahead of the curve. So the remote emphasis, huge aspect, heavily weighted. And then the last one are the perks that they actually advertise. Sometimes we won't have full clarity into all of the perks, but the ones that do advertise them, and you really should, if they're not advertising them and they're kind of hidden, it should count as a negative anyway, so they don't get points for it, and they probably shouldn't, because if you're marketing to employees, you should have very clear transparency into what you're getting into. So each of the perks that are offered, We've gone through all the job listings for these companies, gone through all of the careers pages. You get specific points for different types of perks that you advertise. So, for example, something that gives you a lot of points would be flexible working hours. And what that means is the company doesn't really care which hours you're working or when you're working them. And that says so many.
This is like the best of the best of work from anywhere for nomad life. You can work from any time zone. You can work whenever you feel good, when you like it. Like,
These
this is
companies have transcended into the area that I want all companies to go to. They have reached.
You look like a religious transcendence.
They have reached absolute transcendence.
Oh my God, they are enlightened. This is an enlightened company.
They've got the third eye activated, all of their chakras aligned. They are doing good things. Because they
I've never heard you mention that. It's so funny to me.
They completely embrace output over attendance, which I think every company could learn to do and become, I don't know what percentage more profitable, but a lot if they start embracing output. And they understand that people are not productive for this weird 9 to 5 period of time. Like, they're productive in gaps, and some people are better in the morning, some better in the afternoon. All they care about is getting your job done, and they trust you to do it. If a company doesn't trust you, they do a weird thing where they like kind of micromanage you, and they look over your shoulder and they monitor how often you're working. There's tracking software and company computers that do that. They'll actually monitor if you're at your computer, how quickly you're typing, how often you're typing. It's very, very 1984.
It's insane.
The software that can do that, which I don't understand why they put that on the employee when they're not putting that on their leadership, and their hiring. That just basically, to me, says I don't trust my own hiring process and I don't trust my management process. That's you problem. That's not an employee problem. You've done a bad job of hiring. You've done a bad job of leadership.
Tell him, Jeff.
I need to write a book. I mean, I've got so many things. I should write a book. Yeah.
You do.
Let me know if you'd read my book.
You should.
Would you read my rant? Companies listening, would you read my ranting? Please. I need a little bit of kick in the ass for this. Yeah, so when they offer that flexible working hours, it says nothing but good things to me, and I think that they really get it. They trust and they empower employees, and when people feel empowered with this kind of thing, they're more dedicated. They don't churn as often, and they work harder for the company, right? And I think companies really, really misunderstand churn and how bad it is when you don't retain employees. If you lose an employee, it costs an average of about 6 months of that employee's salary to replace them and get a new person productive and up to speed. If you reduce your churn by 50% by doing some of this, you've already saved, depending on the company, thousands, maybe millions of dollars, right? So this is so important. That's just one of the perks that we have in here. I mean, I think we've got 17 main perks that we look at. I mean, for example, a lot of things that people like looking at is the number of vacation days, PTO days they get per year. That's in there. 4-day work weeks are really popping up all over the place. I love that. I would prefer flex hours, but I'll take 4-day work weeks. That's pretty sweet. Async, if they're advertising asynchronous work. So fewer meetings, time zones not as important. I'm all for that. Obviously, looking at benefits stuff, people want medical benefits, equity in company. You know what's kind of cool is some of these companies that are fully remote do have a travel aspect, but usually it's for some cool company retreat. I've seen some awesome ones. Like they'll take their employees to Ibiza once a year, and they might do some work, but it's just like, have fun with your employees, have fun with your company for like a few days, kind of thing. So I actually don't see that as a negative. I think that could be like kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So with that, you can see now the scoring criteria that's there, what makes up the overall score, what makes up those individual things. When you hover over the little cards of each company, you'll see a quick view of what their ratings are for each of those individual ones. And then ultimately, as Jeff said, with his data brain for you can thank Jeff, you get a whole kind of like weighted score that ultimately, so again, if you sort, which we'll talk about in just a second, we'll go into that now. You can sort by the company score. You can sort and filter by these perks and stuff. So you can go in and sort like highest to lowest companies there and see like which are really the companies that just like from the beginning are letting you work from anywhere. They're asynchronous. They're talking about it. They're great. They have good perks and all of that, down to some that are a little less, but still I feel like the lowest scores, the companies on the Anywhere Atlas are probably like way higher than anything you'd find in just a company that makes you come to an office, if that's what you care about, right? Than going to an office and all of that. So with that, one of our favorite things, aside from all the work of just like having the right companies on this database, is that you can sort and filter by what's important to you. So some people, I know this is like a common thing a lot of people would ask in coaching, which is kind of a fear of working for like a newer company or a smaller company. Like, what if you get this job there and then it goes under and you're like in New Zealand working remotely? So if that's something that's important to you, as an example, you can sort or filter by the age of the company, by the size of the company. You can filter by if you just want a 4-day work week and that's important to you, you can filter by only the companies that have 4-day work weeks. So it's kind of insane. Like, nothing exists like this out in the world to find companies like this, remote or otherwise. So it's a really cool feature that we've gotten some awesome feedback that you guys are loving. So you can see what's important to you, and you can find the companies that you want to, get a job at, find a job, network with, that really light you up. You can quickly see the company mission on there. You can also filter by the different industries. So if you want healthcare or tech or advertising or, whatever you're looking for, you can find that as well. Did I miss anything, Jeff, with like sorting? I don't know why I say that. Sorting and filtering.
Yeah, you can filter by that score that I told you about is the Atlas score, the overall 1 to 100. It's called the Atlas score. You can sort and filter by that, highest to lowest. And then you can also sort by scores for each one of those individual scores that we give these companies, the peer review score, company culture score, perk score, and remote culture score. So if any of those are more important to you than others, you can go top to bottom, bottom to top on that.
Yeah, amazing. The next little attribute that we added, thanks to feedback from all of you as well, is a currently hiring toggle. Right now, this is a little bit of a manual process. We have someone on our team who literally goes in and checks fully manual. One day we will, if you're listening, by the way, and you're like a whiz, any tech people listening, if you're a whiz at automations, AI, that kind of thing, I'm sure there's a way to do this that we will get to. But right now, this is a manual process. Someone on our team goes through and checks which of these companies have active job listings, and then it'll change. Are they hiring? Yes or no? But to you on the front end inside the database, you can just do a little toggle for only companies hiring right now. So if you're like, I'm looking for a job right this second, I want to know who's hiring. That way you don't waste your time. And we think you should still network with the companies that you just, light you on fire. Maybe you love their mission, what they do. You just love to work for this company. Still follow them, reach out to them, like network. You never know when they're hiring. Mostly a lot of jobs aren't always posted. We'll talk about that in another time, an episode, and how we can help you with that. But again, if you just want to apply to job listings online, right now, you can see who is hiring or not at this moment. And again, may not always, maybe we say they're hiring and they just took a job down or something. So again, don't add us if it's not exactly perfect, but we do update it fairly often and it's pretty accurate.
Okay, next, I'd like to have you talk about the job alert emails. That is your passion and baby, and you spent so much time putting that template and structure together. So I think it'd be cool to have you explain what it is and what is in it.
Yeah, if his baby was all the data and the numbers, mine is definitely these daily emails. So when you sign up for the Atlas, or if you're already on our email list, so you can just go to beachcommute.com/Atlas. Again, if you haven't already signed up, when you enter your email to unlock all the companies, you'll start getting these daily job alerts as well. You can also just go to beachcommute.com/email to hop on our list. So every day, Monday through Friday, we send you an email that has featuring 2 companies that are hiring that day, that have a decent amount of a wide range of different variety of job listings. So what I love about these daily emails, as we said, think about them serving 2 different purposes. The Atlas is you should go on there and you should find the companies that I keep saying, light your soul on fire, where you're just that would be fucking awesome to work for this company. They seem really cool. I love what they do. I'm going to network. Go after those companies. We often say, don't apply for listings, apply to companies, get to know the companies. However, if you're newer to this, or also just to keep the inspiration, people love the daily emails because everyone will say oh, I hadn't seen that company before, or I never, we share different different job listings you can apply to that day. So you might see a job listing for a title of a job or a type of job that you just thought, I never realized you could do that remotely. I could do that. So it's a really awesome place for daily inspiration and just to keep reminding you why you're what are you doing this for? You're doing this to find a job that lets you travel the world. So there's a lot of travel inspiration in there. So at a quick highlight for the jobs, the job listings, you will see a quick view of the company. It just says like, here's what they do, here's some of the awesome perks they offer, and here's like we share cool quotes. So you can get a feel for like work from the moon as long as you have Wi-Fi, whatever. I don't know. That's always the one that comes to mind because I feel like that's what you asked for, Jeff, when you first started working remotely. Like, it shouldn't matter where I work. It's like, I will work from the moon if I have Wi-Fi.
That's right, yeah.
So anyway,
Forgot about that.
I don't know why. Like always, it is like cemented in my brain until the day
that the moon if I wanted
for whatever reason
you can't tell me
stamped.
I can't.
It's like lives rent. I will work from Mars if I want. I got Wi-Fi. But yeah, it's a cool, just like at a very quick glance, you'll see just like each day you might just get exposed to a new company, or maybe you looked at the Atlas and we've added a new one since you looked last, and it's like you see it promoted there. So it's just a really awesome way to get inspiration for the types of companies that are out there, and again, the job listings that you could do. And maybe like you've been off your game and you just see these daily emails and you're like, oh my God, this role is perfect. I didn't go looking today, but like it came to you. So that's really the gist of those daily remote emails and why they're so important. And just to keep you inspired of like, there's more out there. Here's what's there. Like, keep going. You can do it. We share some fun travel destinations. And then also in the new style of these daily emails, I personally love travel quotes. So you've got some fun travel quotes in there, some travel tips that help you with just like booking flights or nomad life or packing, or, you know, career coaching tips are in there too. So there's a lot of really good information inside every one of these daily emails. So highly recommend to get on the list and just quickly browse them each day to see like what's going on, what's there. You will find something that will help you. So those are the job alerts, and that's the reason we set it up that way, is it kind of marries the two of like, here's all the companies in the Atlas, and here's just in case you're missing things or need some inspiration, or just it will come to you, I think is what I love about those daily emails.
So the last thing that we wanted to talk about now as a feature is you can favorite companies to your profile. So when you sign up for the Atlas, all it requires is an email, and then you get a quick activation link, and then you set a password. With that, it's really important that we do it this way because you get a profile, and what you can do is go through the companies either in this giant grid that you see on the homepage, and you can click a heart next to the ones that you like, and it'll save it to your profile. So if you go to your profile, it has all the companies that you like the most, and you can use it as almost like a tracking, task management type of system where you can just keep an eye. These are the companies that I need to keep an eye on and I need to reach out to, and ideally start establishing some ties, some connections with the people at the company so that, you know, I've got a better chance of getting a referral. And that's probably the best way to get a job, is to get some sort of a referral from somebody. Either way, it's a really easy way for you to visualize the companies that you want to work for in your own kind of like vision board in your profile. And you can just keep an eye on the ones that you like.
That you guys had requested.
Was it?
Like, this is something as
I
we're
can't
building
keep track
out.
anymore.
Yeah, somebody emailed us
right.
and with the Atlas, they were like, I love all these, but like, I want a way to like, how can I save my favorites? Like, can you guys do that?
Mm-hmm.
And again, from the beginning episode, we're like, fuck it, why not? So that was the reason, that you have to have an email and create a profile so you can save those companies for yourself. And that was requested by you guys.
Awesome. So we invite you to send feedback to us, because as we made it abundantly clear, we take it and a lot of times we use it. And you've created this product as much as we have. So do write us in hello@beachcommute.com with any thoughts on this. Some things that have come up as ideas. I'm going to throw them out there. I'm not going to say that we're going to do them, but they are ideas. Adding the actual job listings to the Atlas. People do want that. Tech people listening, send us a message. We don't know how to do this without doing it manually. We are not tech people. Sounds cool. I don't know. Either like adding them to the site and then linking out to the job listings at the companies, or embedding them directly in our site. I don't know. You tell us. However it works, it would be super freaking cool. Also, turning your profile section into like a little bit of maybe like a task management thing, where if you've got your company, you can have like a certain number of tasks that you need to go through and check off, like connected with them on LinkedIn, check. And then it sends you a reminder, okay, you need to connect with 3 more people in 3 days, check, something like that. Applied to company, check. And then it sends you, I don't know, like an email reminder in 3 days, say, hey, follow up with XYZ address. I'm just coming up with this on the fly. Like a
personal career coaching within it. I love it.
Like one of those task manager things that companies use, like Monday.com, those things, it's just like a company task, but like your own like individual job application task manager kind of thing would be super
Yeah,
cool.
that was a major theme we heard. We talked before we were building this out. We talked to a lot of you personally who were using our first version that we just sort of like got out before we really like paid developers to make this a beautiful thing for you with a pretty interface. But yeah, this was definitely a theme we heard that you're like, I want it to like tell me what I need to do and remind me and like keep track of all the things and the people I've already reached out to. So that would be an awesome one.
More details on the company pages. Tell us what you think would be interesting. Do you want us to write more comprehensive reviews? Do you want to read what other people are saying about the company? Perhaps people that work there, perhaps people that are interested in the companies. I don't know. Do you want user-generated content on there? Tell us what more would you like to learn about these companies? I'm sure there's something. You'd like us to be able to, kind of a simple one, to be able to click on a company and have it open in a new tab to read the profile. We can just do that today, and I'll just send over a note. I couldn't figure out how to do it myself, so I'm gonna send over a note to get that done. That's an easy one. We love that. Yeah, the live job listings. Oh, there's another good one here. Somebody wanted us to add some filtering by companies that hire globally, hire anywhere in the world, rather than just letting you work from anywhere in the world. I get this request a lot from people on LinkedIn saying,
so many people send this on
hey,
emails.
will they hire in South Africa? And like, I don't know. I don't.
Or like, if you're from South Africa, will they hire you?
Yeah, because a lot of these companies, Marissa's mentioned in the past, have tax implications. They've got restrictions on where they can actually hire people. And if they have them as full-time employees, sometimes they will only hire in the places where they're actually incorporated for these tax purposes. And then other companies that hire from anywhere, not just work from anywhere, it's HFA, a whole nother level, are probably 1099 consultants. I'd say almost exclusively, right? I think that's what they have to do to hire from anywhere.
Yeah, I was mentioning in the last episode as well, there's a couple of third-party companies that have popped up now that I think I mentioned. Some of them are on the Atlas as work from anywhere companies. It's getting very meta in here. But basically, these companies let people work from anywhere. They hire them, and they have basically are hiring employees all over the world. And then, let's say, Beach Commute, we wanted to hire, so we would pay that company, and that company technically pays the person from anywhere in the world. So it's either like you're working as a 1099 contractor, you're getting paid through these third-party companies, or you are from the country that the company is based in, but they let you work from anywhere. Those are like the three sort of main ways.
So many levels.
I think this would be, so many levels. So hire from anywhere. I feel like this is going to be farther out, but it would be nice if we could have, we mentioned this, I was texting you yesterday, of some sort of like filters or a toggle that said like, I'm from here, and it would show you like only the companies that would hire you specifically. So if you're from Romania and you turn your toggle on for Romania, it would just like only show you the companies that like hire from everywhere or hire people who are from Romania, even if you can work from anywhere. So it's not there yet, but I do want to give just a little PSA because so many people ask us this question. I feel like we just like linked to this answer, is that, you know, no matter where you're from, check out the Atlas, because a lot of these companies, and especially like the higher the score, the more likely they are to also hire from anywhere, because it'll say like, we have employees who are from, 70 different countries and working from anywhere. So those kind of companies usually are hiring from anywhere for the most part. And then as you go lower down, you might be more likely to find the companies that are like, you can work from anywhere, but you might have to be a citizen of this country. And a lot of people say, like, if I'm not from the US, is this useful to me? So not all companies are based, like, I would say, I don't know if you know, Jeff, but I would say a majority of the companies are probably US-based companies. However, there are definitely companies on there that are, in the Netherlands and Belgium and, New Zealand, Australia. Like, there's companies based all over the world as well that just hire from anywhere, hire you from anywhere.
Again, dev people, let me know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I want it. I don't know how to do it.
I feel like that's a pretty manual thing right now. So go through every single one of those companies, figure it out. And it's not always crystal clear too. So that's why sometimes it takes just like networking with companies to see, because companies don't always say this right away. So it's kind of hard for us to tell you exactly. But I can say just the higher the score, the more likely it's going to be that you can be from anywhere. And
if you're a company that does this stuff and wants to get in the list, do it for us. Send us a message and tell us all these things, please. Eventually, this is going to be a self-service thing, and you can tell us what you offer your employees, and we'll obviously verify it all, but we're not there yet. Please start doing that, though. If you're a company and you want to be involved, send us a note. Okay.
Yep. hello@beachcommute.com. And you've had some companies already doing that, which is really cool. So this is just now public. It's live. And Jeff sent me a message with someone's like, hey, my company is this. Like, add me to it. So we're like, fantastic. You know, we've found a lot of companies that if maybe you're smaller and we haven't seen you hiring or we don't know about you, let us know. We'd love to add you and do verify that you let people work from anywhere.
Yeah, it was Mailer Lite. They are number 3 on the Atlas, 97%. Love them. Anytime they've got job listings, I show them because they check every box for me. So yeah, glad for the shout out. The rest of you, yeah, give us a note. Help us out a little bit. Let's make this even easier for both of us.
You work for a work from anywhere company even. Let us know if your company's not on there, and it should be.
Okay, is that it?
I think so. Well, if you can't tell, this is a labor of love. Yeah. We are super excited for it, and we created it for free. And we really wanted to make it free because it's a great resource that we feel is really shareable. Like, this needs to be out there. We genuinely want to help you. Share this with your friends. Share this with family members, for your coworkers who are really unhappy in your office. We thought this was just a really great tool for people to come into our world and for you to continue to use to actually find a job. At the end of the day, we are useless if we're not helping you find a job. So we see this as a tool that is free to use, that will be widely shareable, widely findable on the internet, that will bring you and other people into our beach commute world, which we're super excited about. We do offer different courses, ways to help you with your resume, help you land a job. Like, there's other things that we do charge for to help you if you're still having trouble getting the remote job once you find these companies. So that is how we monetize. There's other things we may do in the future. We've got some fun, a really big, actually, program, work in progress, coming to you soon, little spoiler alert, but we do that. So the Atlas is free because it is a tool that can genuinely help you and bring more people into the beach commute world. So enjoy it while it's free. We think it will be free forever. Who knows? But check it out. And we just want you to know why it's like, why are you even creating? Is this a trick? It almost sounds like a trick as I was thinking about this. It is not. It is simply an amazing tool that we care about, and we really want to help you find a remote job.
So if you want to check it out, as Marissa said, it's free for anybody to use. All you need is an email address. Simple as that. Go to anywhereatlas.beachcommute.com. You will see a working grid right in front of you with just a few of the companies. Put in your email address and it unlocks all the rest of them, and you automatically start getting job alerts sent to your inbox every day, along with everything else in Marissa's newsletter, travel trivia, different locations. What was the trivia that I saw today? It was a pyramid somewhere. I can't remember what it was. I got it wrong. I don't know what it was. I'm starting to play now. I'm like, man, I'm not very good at this. Anyways, you get that and a bunch of great feedback from the newsletter. So yeah, join us today. And again, let us know if you have any feedback. This is a work in progress and a labor of love.
Amazing. So beachcommute.com/Atlas, or just click the link in the show notes.
And that's it for us. Again, write us in if you have any feedback, any questions, hello@beachcommute.com. Otherwise, we will see you again next week.